Good evening, everyone. So glad to see all of you. What a nice bunch. This is the first town hall meeting we've had in 2019, and we have a couple more on finance in April and May, and then throughout the rest of the year we'll have 3 more town hall meetings that are just multi-topic, like tonight, where we speak on several topics. You often hear, first of all, let me tell you, I don't know everybody. I'm Dave Carmichael, the chairman of the Board of Commissioners, and people I brought with me are Team Paulding. We like to think that we work together well as a team, and we value teamwork, and we do that with mutual respect and taking the skills and the talents of the individual department heads and the commissioners. You might hear our group called county government. The 2 words that I like the best are public service, and we should be public servants, and because of that, you are the reason that we're here. You're the reason that we work, and we look forward tonight to hearing from you, aside from giving you some reports. There's a couple of things I would like to do before we get into some special topics, and the first is to let the Board of Commissioners and the staff just say who they are and what their job is with the county. So let's start, you can catch all the commissioners. We just go down the road here in line with your commissioner department.
Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Ron Davis. I'm Post 1 Commissioner here in Paulding County. If you live in this area, east and some of central Paulding, you live in Post 1 potentially, and that will make me your commissioner. I've been in office since March of 2016, and I'm happy you're all here tonight, and look forward to great things.
Good evening. My name is Frank Baker. I'm the county administrator, and I'm glad to be here. And I'm glad to see that partition is pulled away. Last time we were here, it wasn't, so I'm just glad that it was.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Sandy Caker, and I'm Post 2 Commissioner. I'm on the west side of the county, west and south.
I'm Lori Ashmore. I'm Director of Paulding Water System. We're your water and sewer provider.
Good evening. I'm Ann Lippman. I'm the Community Development Director.
Good evening. I'm Brian Stone, the Post 4 Commissioner. In the City Press, Burn Hickory, Mile,
Good evening. My name is George Jones. I'm the Department of Transportation Director.
Good evening. I'm Rebecca Meredith. I'm the County Clerk and Executive to the Board of Commissioners.
Hey guys, I'm Chuck Hart. I'm Post 3 Commissioner. I'm on the south side of Paulding right now. I'm where that message street and I'm sure it's right now. But you know, it's exciting though. We're only got a little longer.
Hello, Scott Green, Director of Operations. I used to be the Director of DOT, which George is now taking that role, and I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Angela Sears, and I'm the Senior Administrative Assistant to Dave Carmichael.
Hi, I'm Tabitha Pollard. I'm the Finance Director.
James Stokes, Chief Appraiser and Director of the Board of Tax Assessor's Office.
That's everybody that's on the staff or the board. And again, we're here to provide information to you. And if I was going to put out just a couple of rules, game rules, if you will, we're all different. We all have different ideas, but we live in the same county, don't we? And we're interested in this county being the very best we can be, and using our resources effectively to serve our community. So I would request that we have a very civil meeting here, that we have a meeting where there's a lot of mutual respect for different ideas. I'm sure there are people here that may have some things on their mind that they'd like to see improvements on, and we're going to listen and we're going to take notes. And if need be, the way I know these people, all that they're working an extra 5 or 6 hours today, they'll stay even after the 9 o'clock time and speak with you about whatever your concerns are. So we're going to get into the different topics, and the first person is George Jones, who's introduced himself. He's going to talk about our Paulding County DOT initiative. Everybody hear us? Very hard.
As long as I don't open the door. Yeah.
I will yell as loud as I can. Let me start off with, before my voice goes hoarse, right now on some active projects in the county. We're working on the Dallas-Ackworth widening bridges over Pickett's, Mill Creek, and Possum Creek. Those projects have been ongoing for a while. It seems probably like 5 years. It's not. It's more like 2, but it's been a while. We just resurfaced the Pickett's approach last Friday, so that work is ending. We got some grassing to do, sidewalk work, incidentals. So that project is getting close to being done, which I'm sure everybody will be quite happy. We've got some subdivision paving going on. We're paving this year 38 different subdivisions, 28.374 miles. That includes milling, patching, resurfacing on 150 county streets. The cost of that is $3,789,000, and we have a completion date of June 30th of 2018. We also just let out a through road paving contract that's on your major roads. The roads on that list include Old Cartersville, Due West, Northside Church, Mount Vernon, and Harmony Grove Church Road, from Cedar Crest Road up to Bob Brogan Drive. That project is scheduled to be finished in September 30th of 2018, and the cost of that work is $4,270,000.
You're off a year. You do mean 2018 or not 2019?
All right, well, you know, you guys are paying attention.
We passed the quiz.
There you go. We also do paving with our internal roadway crews. We have about 20 miles we plan on doing this fiscal year, going into next fiscal year, and finishing in spring 2019. Some roadway projects going on. The state right now has the GDOT, a road widening project on Highway 92, like Chuck said, from Douglas County to Nebo Road. It's going to be 6 lanes from Douglas all the way to Bill Caruth, and 4 lanes from Bill Caruth into Nebo Road. That project is scheduled for a July 2022 completion date. Don't hold your breath, things can happen. Right now they're working with utilities, utility relocation, but like I said, right now, still early in the project, things are on schedule. On Highway 92 also, on GDOT has a project that they're working on finalizing right-of-way from Oldburg Hickory Road to the Cobb County line. Like I said, they're working on right-of-way. The construction let date is currently set for 2026. Things can change again, so that's what the schedule is right now, but these projects seem to have changes every so often. Also, the county itself, we have a road widening project. The Cedar Crest Road Widening Project right now has a scheduled April 2023 let date. That is basically widening the road all the way from Harmony Grove Church Road up to the Cobb County line, 4-lane divided highway. We're currently working on subsurface utility engineering, constructability reviews. Preliminary plan review is set for September 2019. GDOT right now, who's working with us on this project, is reviewing our concept report and traffic numbers. We also have some projects under design. There's a single-lane roundabout plan for the intersection of Ridge Road, Moran Store Road, and Bob Hunton Road. Again, that intersection right now operates as an always stop. It has a lot of delays in the AM and PM peak hours, so we plan on getting our comments back from the Georgia EPD on our engineering, and hopefully we'll be able to let that project out sometime this spring. We're very excited. This is our first roundabout project. We also have an intersection realignment project at the intersection of Dallas-Ackworth Highway, Mount Tabor Church Road, and Gullidge Road. If anybody's ever been through that intersection, I know it's at the crest of the hill. It's very steep. You can't see very well on it. So that project is going to realign Gullidge Road and Fry Road. We're going to cut down about 7 feet of the hill, so we have adequate side distance going through there. We're looking at still got to acquire some more right-of-way for that project. We're looking at probably at this point, a fall 2019 let date. So we have another project also ongoing on Seven Hills Boulevard itself, widening from the bridge over Pumpkin Vine Creek to Cedar Crest Road. That project, we're still obtaining some right-of-way. That will be going from a 2-lane roadway to a 4-lane roadway. Another one I'm excited about is we had a request for proposals for US 278 through Hiram, going from Atlanta Highway to Poplar Springs Road, Bill Caruth Parkway. Basically, we're looking at a corridor improvements study. We're looking at ways to improve traffic flow through Hiram itself. That's one of our busiest areas in the county. Anybody's been there, through there, especially the AM and PM peak hour time periods, Christmas time, holidays, weekends, very busy. So we're just looking at ways to try to make the traffic flow better through that area. Could be looking at adding turn lanes, signal phasing, possibly removing a signal, changing intersection configurations, any way we can to make traffic flow better through that area. Right now we're negotiating with a consulting team to determine the cost and scope of work. Hopefully we'll be starting on that work sometime this summer. And that's pretty much all I got on DOT stuff.
All right. Well, we'll introduce our next speaker, and what I'd like y'all to do, is hold your questions for George, write them down, and we'll do all the questions at the same time, and whoever applies will answer that question. So next is probably one of our most soft-spoken employees, Ann Littman, so I might even slide this up a little bit.
I'll try to do that.
Get you mad and then we'll talk about it now.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Ann Littman. I'm the Community Development Director. And in case you don't know what community development is, I always joke that we let people build stuff. We're planning and zoning, building and permits, development, and the business license division. You've probably all seen a lot of building and subdivisions going around. For the past 2 years, we've issued over 1,500 single-family residential permits. I feel like that number is probably going to stay the same or maybe even drop a little this year because a lot of the lots that were left over from the recession are running low. But developers are coming back, and the development division is seeing a lot of submittals for finish out of subdivisions, and there's been an increase in commercial development. The planning and zoning, the county actually last month initiated a rezoning to rezone a tract on 120 right near here to commercial, and we actually had an industrial rezoning just this month. We've also, we're working with the Atlanta Regional Commission. We've submitted an application to study Mill Creek Parkway and Highway 92. It's kind of a nice blank slate, but we've had the widening of 92, sewer expansion in association with Greystone moving their headquarters there, so we've submitted a grant to have them help us take a look at that area and plan best for the future. We're also the business license division. Paulding County, unincorporated Paulding County, has over 3,000 business licenses. About 75% of those businesses are home occupations. And we are working with the chamber to have a class on how to start a business in Paulding County, and that will be on May 1st. And I will be happy to talk with anyone later and answer any questions you may have.
Thanks, Ian. I'm going to skip around a little bit on the agenda that you have. I had asked the specialist people to come up in a row, so Lord, I surprise you. And it's Miss Lori Ashmore. If you don't remember when she introduced herself, is over water and sewer, a huge job for the county.
And I've never been accused of being a soft bully. And I just want to highlight a couple of projects for you. You know, when George talks about road improvements and he talks about utility relocations, that's where we come in with George's projects. All the development, continued growth in our water and sewer system infrastructure as well. We have one of the largest capital improvement program elements going on right now in the county that has been the largest in the county's history, and that's the construction of the Richland Creek Water Supply Program. If you are unaware, today we purchase all of our water from Cobb Marietta Water Authority, and we are constructing our own water supply in the north end of the county. It is it's a massive undertaking. Not only a reservoir and a water treatment plant, but a withdrawal from the Etowah River south of Lake Allatoona, and distribution improvements to get it out to your residences and businesses. So a major undertaking. We have been in construction since 2017, and we are scheduled to be actually filling the reservoir later this year. So construction will be complete in 2019 as originally scheduled. We are We are struggling right now, as probably many of you are with all the rain that's occurred. And you've seen probably seen Lake Allatoona levels are up, creek levels are up, and that's slowed us down a bit this year. On the wastewater side, we have been continuing to expand and utilize our existing wastewater treatment capacity, but at this point we're also in the preliminary engineering phases for our next expansion of our capacity at the Coppermine wastewater treatment facility that is off of down in the Bill Carruth area south of the hospital. So we'll be expanding that by an additional 1 million gallons per day capacity. We're in, Ann mentioned the 92 corridor. We are working with Greystone, and we're leveraging Greystone's investment in sewer infrastructure. They were going to have to convey their wastewater from their facility to the Cobb line under our contract with Cobb County for treatment services in that area. And we're leveraging that investment to build some sewer collection system improvements that will serve a broader area. That corridor up to Bill Carruth Parkway, and be able to expand out to some of those areas that Ann was talking about, looking at in the Bill Carruth corridor. So we're continuing to invest in infrastructure to continue to allow future development in Paulding County.
Another one of our department heads is one of my favorite areas, Parks and Recreation. And the department head for that is Michael Justice. And he cannot be here tonight, but he gave me some bullet points that I'll share with you. They're actually dates. On April 20th, there'll be a ribbon cutting for the opening day of the new Trailblazers League, which is a league for youth and special population groups. They're going to be playing on a new synthetic turf there on the multi-purpose field there as you go into the main athletic area there at Burt Hickory Park. Any of y'all seen the new turf field? It's really doesn't cost, in my mind, that much more than the regular turf field, which requires all the maintenance, and then drains our coffers just from the maintenance. That's like Lake Point. Everybody's been at Lake Point. Seen those fields. It can come a tremendous thunderstorm. 10 minutes later, you can be out there playing. My grandkids play up there a lot. So now we've got one of our own, and we hope to have more. And that was a SPLOST project. I'm sure everybody knows what the SPLOST is. If you don't, come ask me afterwards. On April the 27th, we're having another Touch a Truck Day, which is great for kids right there at Veterans Park. And they get to see the different vehicles and equipment that public safety uses. The last couple of years, they've had helicopters fly in from the Coast Guard and from other law enforcement units. So mark that on your calendar. You might even have a dunking booth for the commissioners, which has been popular in the past. On June the 8th is a summer concert at Veterans Park. They have some pretty good groups coming there. 8 p.m. On June the 15th is a movie Under the Stars at Veterans Park. And as soon as it gets dark, which is about 8:30 that time of year, then they'll start the movie. Their registration is underway for summer youth programs. So if you've got kids or grandkids, this is the time to go by one of our facilities, recreation facilities, and get yourself signed up. Now we have other department heads here that I want to at least give them the chance to say something, although they weren't on the agenda, but they have very important jobs. I already mentioned that we're going to have just a financial budget open house or a meeting like this, a town hall meeting, what's the date, April?
The 18th.
April the 18th at Taylor Farm.
13th, I think.
Yeah, May 13th. May 13th at the Burnt Hickory Park. And that whole period of time will be used to answer questions on the budget and talk about the chairman's budget. I'll talk about that in just a second, so I'll quit with that for now. James Stokes introduced himself. James, do you have anything you'd like to say? Anything timely as far as time of the year registering for homestead or anything like that?
Monday's your deadline. If you have not filed for homestead exemption, or if you have an issue with your property, you need to come see us by Monday. All of our information is online. You can look up everything about your property, your neighbors, and your in-laws. So it's all out there on the web. Anything that you need to know, any questions that you may have, feel free to contact me or anybody in our office. We'll send somebody out to your house. We'll do whatever we need to do to answer your questions.
Excuse me, Jade. And my assistant has been attending some census meetings, but I don't know if she's going to talk. She might sing. But you want to hold it off just for the chairman's corner?
Yes, that's fine. Just I would encourage everyone, if you have not been on the Chairman's Corner, on our website, just go and the Chairman's Corner is there, and it talks about the census and how important it is when you get that information to fill it out and send it in. So please, if you get it, make sure that you adhere to that and send it in. It's very important for Paulding County.
Thank you. And my immediate team is 3 people. It's myself, the county administrator, Frank Baker, and the operations manager, Scott Green. So I refer to this group as the Spear because we're on the point, and we're just trying to have projects that will be the most helpful and to penetrate the most into what your needs are in your daily life. So I'm going to say something first. I have a chairman's budget that's due to Tabitha and the rest of the board by June the 1st. And we've been working on that. Again, I just told you we're going to have 2 town halls so I can gather your input. So we put that budget out, and then the rest of the board comes along and we talk about it for about a month, tweak it here and there, and then put out what's the final budget, the final millage rate to be voted on the first meeting in August. On the back of your agenda is I look at it as an archery target. It's got a couple of legs on it. The target itself, if you like pie charts, it's one big pie chart. So I'll let you know about what our biggest problem is in the whole revenue problem or the whole revenue issue in Paulding County. The bullseye there, the red circle in the center, you can see the 88% is personal property tax, which includes you own a business and you have a building. We got a contract on a $4 million building called a film studio, so there'll be property tax on that next year. So that's a real revenue source for the county. But I know what y'all are most concerned about is like I get a bill in the mail just like you do, is your personal property taxes. So you can see the red in the bullseye, or just outside the bullseye, is 88%. Right? Nod your head with me. Yeah. So what's left is, of 88%, is 12% left. And that's where we get our commercial and industrial tax, which we don't have enough of. So one of the main goals that the full Board of Commissioners has over our entire terms is to try to correct that problem, to try to lessen the property tax on you and increase the property tax on Interroll that makes rolling devices for airports and other grocery stores and things like that. So all we have in Paulding County as far as a piece of the pie that comes from commercial is 12%. Folks, that's horrible. That's horrible. That's our biggest problem. Look out to Polk County on the far right. They're to our west, and they get 27% from industrial sources. So their people only have to pay 73% of their services and their county expenses. You can also see in the far right lower corner is Carroll County. Their yellow is about 33%, as is Bartow County to our north, as is Cobb County to our east. All about 33% is achieved through industrial and commercial taxes. So you can see their red is smaller. That's what we want, is smaller red. We want a smaller red piece of the pie. If you look at Douglas County on the far left, their yellow is 38%. So that means less will be paid by their homeowners. So that's one of the objectives that we have as a board, is to change where we have a lot more yellow and a lot less red. And you see the legs of the target go to education. They actually get 65% of your property taxes goes to the schools. That's what 31% is M&O, maintenance and operation. So the schools is more than twice what the rest of your services. That's the sheriffs, that's the fire, that's the 911, that's the roads, that's the water and sewer, that's everything else. So you see the right leg is community services. Again, we're supposed to be a public service to you. So community services and all these services that we want you to have. The parks, you know, the parks, the grass has to be mowed, the grounds have to be kept up. And you know, we've got a fairly new park out to the southwest. The results, to look at everything on this screen, or on this target, is, you know, because of our 88% property tax, it can be a reduced quality of life. We can't provide the same services that Cobb County is providing. We can't provide the same services that these other counties at the same price anyway. We can provide them, but we just don't have as much money to work with. And then the blue circle in there is lengthy commutes. Well, you know, over 90%, over 80% of the county commutes to mostly to the east to get to jobs. I worked for 25 years in Fulton County, so I was one of those commuters. How many of y'all are commuters? It's not really as many as I thought. In the north part of the county, I'm told this would be maybe an end question, it's more like 94% commute. You don't know? Maybe James knows that. I think it's 92 to 94%. All right, so what I'd like to do next is bring up another part of the sphere, which is the county administrator, and just let Frank Baker talk about anything that's on his mind or heart tonight. Let me tell you what he's been doing all day, something that he just does on the side. It's a program called ADAD. What ADAD is? Alcohol, drug, and abuse. It's a program where real quality speakers come in. It's done at the elementary school level, the middle school level, and tomorrow it's at East Paulding High School. A lot of our staff volunteers their time and helps with the speakers, helps with the kids. But it's really a great event. He's been doing, I think he's got more than 70 or 80 of these things in Cobb County or Paulding County. So we're proud of that program.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm just glad to be here, and I just want to talk about teamwork. And the chairman had mentioned Team Paulding, and we really believe that when we talk about these projects, there are so many moving parts to these things that it takes a team to be able to work through them. And we have so many departments that are involved in our day-to-day operations. For example, our IT department, which we don't probably want to talk about tonight, services everyone from our libraries to our parks, to our roads department, to James's department, to the finance department. And of course, Tabitha, she touches every department too. But all these big projects, we work as a team. As you can see, there's things that go on with the roads that impact zoning, impact operations, impact water. So we're really proud of that, and when we use that slogan, we really mean it. So that's really what I wanted to talk about, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate the opportunity. Again, it's great to see all y'all here. And this accordion door, or wall, got moved. And last year, I can't remember how many people we had. I think it was only about 30 people. I think there's a whole lot more than 30 of y'all out there tonight. But anyway, does anyone have a student at East Paulding High School? Anybody? Please encourage them to go to school tomorrow. I know it's tough because tomorrow is Friday before spring break. And but we've been working really hard. Our staff's been working hard to get that program up and running, and I'm so glad that we're able to do that for the citizens. And there's somebody in the audience that actually I've worked with a lot over the years. Chief, I appreciate you a lot. Had an opportunity to work with you when I was over in Cobb, and he actually was an MC for us and did a lot of camera work for the programs we did over there. And I know you're hopefully going to come tomorrow for a little bit here. So I appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Nickname is Baker Street. It's a great song if you want to listen to a good song tonight. All right, Scott Green, he juggles so many balls, I couldn't even name all of them. But he's happier when his wagon's full and it's full.
Thank you, Director of Operations Scott Green. It's weird to say that still. I've been out of DOT now for over a year, and I still have the heart for DOT and road projects. But we turned it over to a great guy. George is doing a good job. Just to continue on the comments that Frank was saying about Team Paulding, that's our job in administration, is to support the departments in their efforts, make sure they have what they need, to coordinate, and to continue the initiatives that the board sets for us. And in my role, that gets into a lot of projects, as Frank was talking about. We all need something out of these projects. The citizens need quality out of these projects. They need what they're paying for out of the projects. And that's our job, is to make sure we're getting what we pay for. We're getting quality. And that's an everyday job. A lot of times it's pushing paper or it's sending email. But what we really like to talk about, or really like to do, is see those, see the dirt turning and cut ribbons and see things completed and turned over to the citizens for their use. I want to touch on 3 projects. One of them is probably not a real exciting project, but it's a necessary project. It's the Law Enforcement Center, also known as the jail. We've got a 30-year-old jail that is in very poor condition and difficult to maintain. All kinds of problems I don't want to get into, but we've got to replace it. We are replacing it. It's coming out of the ground great now. It's right behind the courthouse, so that in the future, when we have need to move prisoners around, they can go straight in to the court for justice, and then take care of the safety of the officers and the difficulty of moving them around, as well as the sheriff having a new law enforcement center to operate from and to continue to grow as our county grows. It's just a necessary thing, and we've got to do these things. But in my role, we've got a lot of departments that have an interest in this. Building maintenance. We're building a product that building maintenance is going to want to maintain or be able to maintain effectively. We don't give them something that's going to be a problem. Information technology is involved in everything now. So we're coordinating information technology. Law enforcement, of course. DOT supports the design effort and all that, making sure everything works like it should. And water, and sewer, everything goes on and on. We're all intertwined in these jobs, and it takes some coordination. And that's what we try to do with Team Paulding effort, is everybody gets out of it what they need. Departments, the citizens. So that's a really enjoyable task, particularly to see things coming out of the ground and given to the citizens that have had to pay for it. Another project is Fire Station 12, which we've been talking about for 6 or 7 years now. It's finally under design as of yesterday. That's the new station out on Wayside Lane next to Poole Elementary. It was formerly on the airport site at a couple different locations we looked at, and when finally we settled on a site at Spring Road and Wayside. So we're excited to get that underway and then provide better coverage for homes out in that area, and it also benefits not only response time, but backing up other stations. I'm not in fire, but we're here to make sure that fire gets the station they need, that's going to operate the way they want, and then again, we're getting a quality product. And then a little further out, I want to talk about something that was just announced, the airframe and power plant. Airframe and power plant school. You might have heard about that recently. It's been in the paper. Governor Deal came and announced back in November, December, and then just recently Governor Kemp signed the funding, $35 million to build a school on our new airport. As I say, it's new airport. 8 years it's been up there now. 10 years it's been up there now. Wow, it goes by fast. So we're looking forward to something happening good out at that airport with meeting the need for the shortage of mechanics. There's a like need for shortage of pilots that will be addressed with other initiatives in the state. But hey, we're going to be able to fill a need out there, and then that could hopefully spin off to other great things happening out there. So we're really excited about that. But it's a complicated project. It's involving state funding. It's involving federal approvals. It's involving local funding. It's involving designers and engineers and utility services. It goes on and on and on. It's very, very complicated. So that's the in and out, the details of what we get involved with in delivering these projects and make sure they go well. And I'm glad to see that, or be a part of making sure the citizens get what they want, departments get what they need, and we have a great product to make Paulding a better place. And I'll be glad to take some questions on that when we get to the question and answer time. Thank you.
Okay, what I'd like to do next, I got 37 minutes after 7, and it's really a privilege to work with the post commissioners that have other jobs. My whole job is just to be the chairman of Paulding County Board of Commissioners. They've got other jobs, and so they have to make extra time and try to fit in conversations with citizens. We're going out to look at a problem that a constituent calls about. So I want to give them a chance to say hello and maybe talk about something that's going on in their respective geographical district. But before we bring in post, we'll start with post 1 here. We're sitting in his post. I wanted to introduce Rebecca Meredith, who is the clerk, the county clerk, that does all the minutes, all the archives, all the meetings and open records requests that you may make, and all the coordination with the post commissioners. I have my own assistant, but Rebecca works with all 5 of us. So, Rebecca, do you have anything that you'd like to share? Okay. So we'll go over to Ron, and Ron, you can just take us right into 9 o'clock.
All right. Rebecca's not one to talk publicly. She's critical to this operation. People talking about commissioners getting elected and getting things done, and I can tell you, after 3 years in this job, I can tell you pretty confidently that stuff doesn't get done because of commissioners. It gets done in spite of commissioners. And the staff that we have that works for the county is phenomenal, and I appreciate them every day of the year. Post 1, as I mentioned, kind of goes from here up to around the Crossroads area, goes out to the hospital, it goes south a little bit down around Hiram Sudi. Some of the projects that we have, Dave didn't tell me he was going to call us up to do this, so I am shooting from the hip here. There's a, if you've been in the traffic situation on Bobo Road, where Mackland and Mount Tabor come in, there's back-to-back stop signs, and it backs way up, and you get a chance to look at all the pretty houses on Bobo Road while you wait in traffic. We are working on a roundabout program there, and a double roundabout, and it's going to be exciting, and I'm looking forward to not waiting in line at those stop signs. We have on 120, near the Hardy dealerships, you may have heard, there's a big box retail warehouse looking to come, is it? Yeah. Costco. Sometimes we don't know if we can say that. Costco's looking.
They said we could.
Okay, they said we could, so we can. We're excited that Costco's looking at Paulding County. A store like that on the eastern part of the county is going to do, well, it's going to help fill out that 120 between the hospital and the county line, but also a store that size and that magnitude is going to pull some tax dollars out of Cobb County. Dave talked about that pie chart that shows a smaller percentage of taxes collected by businesses, and that's going to help us be able to start offsetting that as we attract more businesses folks like Costco are going to bring people here. I know people in East Paulding, that's where I am, in East Paulding. We drive to Kennesaw, and Barrett Parkway is not fun to drive on. If you need to shop at Costco, it's an ordeal, and you have to kind of plan the times to get around traffic. A lot of folks that are even in West Cobb are going to be coming this way, and so we're excited about that as well. I'm missing something else.
Greystone's not in yours.
I'll jump back up here if I think of anything else, but I do want to say.
Racetrack.
Oh, the racetracks, yes. Racetrack gas stations. Thanks, sir. One at the county line at the end of East Paulding there at 120. There is a racetrack gas station going there, and then directly across the street from the hospital. I guess that's barely out of post 1, but I'll mention it anyway. That's you, Chuck, isn't it? I think that's Chuck. I think that's post 3. No?
No, I think I'm on the hill.
Anyway, I'll claim it. Claim it. Racetrack gas station going in there too. So we're going to see a lot of development, I believe, coming up 120, and we're excited about that. I will just say really quickly before I'll turn it over to Post 2, Sandy Caker, but I will say how much I appreciate participation. We've got the whole board here tonight. We've had town halls in the past that would have 1 or 2, and I'm excited and thrilled that we've got complete county representation and complete board representation here, and that is to be noted and appreciated. So with that, I'll ask, is it okay if I go straight to Sandy? Yes, sir. Sandy Caker, Post 2 Commissioner. Please come and share with us.
Pass me up.
There you go.
My name is Sandy Caker, and I am Post 2 County Commissioner here in Paulding. My largest project is the Aviation Academy. It was God sent. I think it has mostly brought the county back together. There was a lot of arguing and fighting over that airport, and everything has seemed to settle down now because of that Aviation Academy coming here. So thank you, Governor Deal, and thank you, Governor Kemp, for signing that piece of paper. I've got a couple more projects going on in Post 2 that I'm not ready to talk about yet, but just hold on. We've got a lot coming. I'm sorry. It's okay.
I'm Chuck Hart. I'm your Post Commissioner. And can you hear me?
No.
Sorry. And I have inherited what the previous commissioners worked on and that of Greystone coming. It's a great thing. The state's putting the 6-lane road down through there. That's another great thing. It's presenting a lot of problems for us now, but you know, it's when you look at something like that, though, it's exciting because it is at the cusp of growth. And just as the chairman told you just a minute ago, you know, we do have that small piece of pie. And the reason why we have that is unfortunate, but it seems like, you know, PRDs and stuff in the past seem to have gotten planted when a lot of the commercial didn't get planted. And now we're trying to plant those seeds of commercial, you know, and allow those to come up and let things even back out in the county. I am excited about it, though. I think that we're going to have, we're going to have some good growth. It's just like they said, we got a ton of good opportunities coming this way. Even the airports, you know, it has been, like she said, it was kind of a division at one time. I'm excited about it. You know, we're back off the commercial. We're on the general aviation now. And I think that, you know, we get a few big planes up there, get them stored, get the ad valorem coming in. I mean, this thing, it's going to be a good thing, I think. And I appreciate these commissioners, and I'm going to back each one of them. When they got a project or something, I'm going to get right in behind them and push. And as far as these department heads go, they're awesome. I mean, they're awesome. George, there's nothing George don't have stats for. He's got, you know, if you call George up and you say, listen, you know, what happens if we put an R-cut here, if we put a roundabout there? I'm going to tell you, George, you got me in trouble with my mom the other day because she wants a light at the end of Laird Road and Hiram Parkway. And I said, Mom, you know, George said we can't have it because it's safer to do this, you know. But no, Joe, these people, they know what they're doing. I think Mr. Stokes has helped me with one. Trevor has. He's awesome. Trevor, I call him up and I just dump the addresses on him. They go by and do it. They give me an update. I get back with the citizens. Oh, Trevor's, I'm sorry. He's actually over the Marshal's department. So, I mean, if there's like a garbage situation or somebody's not doing something that's compliant, code compliant within the county, they get with me, I get with him. He floats it down, floats it back up. I get them their answer. It's been great. Even Lori, Miss Lori, I didn't understand all the intricacies of all this sewage and why things cost so much. And like, man, when I got out of the office, at first I thought, oh my gosh, I feel sorry for us. Now I feel sorry for her. I mean, it's a project, guys, and we're held to a higher standard than the counties around us because we came along a little bit later. But you know what? It doesn't matter what these obstacles are. Every one of these people want to get in behind and find solutions. You can be proud of them for that. I mean, like I said, we're gonna try. We're gonna fail. But I'm gonna tell you what, guys. You got a group that will try. So enough about that. Put it on the stove.
I'm gonna try to talk as loud as I can. These allergies and sinuses has got me bothered pretty bad. I'm Post 4 Commissioner Brian Stover. I've met a few of y'all. I see a few folks here from Post 4. Those are represented here, so I appreciate y'all coming. I hope you get to meet every one of y'all. I'm not as good a speaker as some of these, so I'm going to get straight to the point. I ran to be able to serve, help. So I've sat down at some of the meetings on some of y'all's concerns, and I'm willing to sit down and listen to anyone and communicate back to what department needs to be communicated to, whether it's George. It seems like most of the issues I've dealt with, Post 4's had a lot of growth. And with growth, you have growing pains, unfortunately, and it just takes time to catch up. So I'd like to address any issues you have. I know majority are here probably about roads.
Yep. Yes, that's right.
There's no reason, I'd like something else. So I love to have a civil conversation with every one of you. I've met y'all a couple of different times, and I just feel that's the best thing to do is just sit down and talk about it and get to the right person to address the situation. Thank you.
We are. I mentioned the small amount of commercial industrial, which is where we're lacking. But what we've got that a lot of other counties don't have is tremendous green space. And if you go to the 100 plus square miles to the west of Paulding County, some of the most beautiful green space you could ever hike around or get outdoors and enjoy. And there's a creek out there called Raccoon Creek. Have you heard of that? And it's really a spot that's unique to the whole United States of America. And I could tell you a little bit more about it, but our county administrator, Baker Street, has coordinated with the biology department at Kennesaw State University, and he'll be able to tell you more about that area. That one of the things that we want to use in Paulding County is our green space to attract tourists, and then get tourists out here. And the more tourists we get out, the more they're going to spend their money out here, which can go back into our coffers. And again, lower property tax.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A little over a year ago, I had the opportunity to meet with Lori Ashmore and a professor from KSU. And we talked about the Raccoon Creek Basin. And I didn't know anything about it until that day. And so I took a field trip out there with a couple folks, and it was just incredible. And some of the work that's being done by KSU and our own local school students, our high schools, is really incredible. That creek has about 43, I believe it's 43 species of fish in that creek, which is remarkable. And some of the research that's being done over there is absolutely incredible. One of the things that one of the high schools has done is they've isolated a DNA sample out of that creek that's not on any DNA registry. It's high school students. And I think that's just remarkable. But we have recently, I'm going to ask Scott to confirm this, I think we recently were partners with the Conservancy and purchased 112 acres. 112?
Right.
of additional space out there so that we can protect that area. Because once it's gone, and we can't get it back. But if you get a chance, if you ever get a chance to go out there, it's incredible. My time with that was the Silver Comet Trail. I don't know, how many of you use the Silver Comet Trail? My wife and I, we put about 2,500 miles a year on that trail on our bikes. And I didn't realize it, but I crossed that creek all the time as I come up to the tunnel. And that's how I got really interested in it. It was there, I never knew it was there. And it's just incredible to be on the creek where we actually release trout once a year. And to think that you're about 38 or 39 miles from downtown Atlanta, you feel like you're somewhere in the mountains. Dave, you always say that when we go out there, you feel like you're out west somewhere. But it's an incredible place, and it's something that we have and we need to protect, and we're trying to do what we can. And so we have a good partnership going on with the local school district and with KSU. So I appreciate the opportunity to let everybody know about that. Thank you, Dave.
All right, now I've got 52, and it's time for questions. So I'll moderate, and we'll pass the question to the department where they have the most expertise. And if you'd stand up and say your name, and as y'all have already discovered, it's not real good acoustics in here, so talk pretty loudly, please.
Yeah, my name is Jerry Vitti. This is directed to George. I live on Vine Creek Drive off of Cedar Crest Road. I moved here in 2001 and had to detour around Graves Road to Harmony Church Grove so you can install a parkway with trees on both sides and in the center of the road. Now you want to take them down. And now I will no longer be able to turn left out of my drive, out of Cedar Crest Drive, to get on Cedar Crest Road. So what can you do about that?
Right now, we're doing preliminary engineering on this road widening project. I don't know exactly, like I said, what the traffic control is for Vine Creek right now. You can come to my office and we can look at it together. We have me or project managers that can look at how this will impact you. But yes, this project is going to impact certain folks in different ways.
Yes,
I realize that.
We're all,
we're impacted. I thought that's why we were here.
Raise your hand here if you're here about Cedar Crest.
I'm telling you.
Yes,
All of us,
exactly.
that's why we were
If
here.
we're
The road
all
widening
here.
project. That's
Exactly.
all we wanted.
George, Donna Lowe, if I could add on to what he was saying, Vine Creek Drive, we are slated, according to the latest maps posted, to be forced to turn right only and go further down and do a U-turn in order to head to 41. Where I venture to say the roughly 80 households in Vine Creek in that section, most of them probably do need to go to 41 to get to work. You've got a lot of people in morning rush hour traffic, 4-lane roads, trying to do a U-turn. School buses most likely trying to do a U-turn. Please help us out.
Right.
A roundabout, an intersection, something. Preferably a red light, not a roundabout.
Well, again, when you're talking safety, a traffic signal is not always your safest method. A lot of times traffic signals will increase your crash rate, honestly. Roundabouts are an option anywhere, however, there's a cost involved. That has to be, we have to take into account everything. I will look at the numbers coming off Vine Creek onto Cedar Crest. Obviously, when you're turned right, instead of being able to turn left, basically your crash rate has been proven to decrease. It is safer, there is more of a delay.
I give you that. However, the U-turn further down in order to head where I need to go. That's where my personal problem exists.
Then y'all came to the Shelton Elementary open house. You asked some questions there?
Yeah.
I just want to make sure you participated. Yes, sir.
Jack Meads, Deadwater Winding Creek. I'm glad I heard from everybody here in Paulding County and different things that are going on. I'm sorry, I must have been totally misinformed because I thought the meeting tonight was to address the concerns from the people at Cedar Crest, Winding Creek, along the roadway on the widening of Cedar Crest. And evidently that's not what we're doing tonight.
No, this is, like I said at the start, a multi-topical for people that talk about things over and above roads. But we're glad to hear your comments on the roads. And let me just ask a question, because I haven't been a commissioner forever. What year was that project voted on?
That's
Which
what,
project?
nobody knows.
Yes.
We have no idea.
We have to dig to get information.
Which project are we talking about?
15 years. The corridor. Come on. The corridor right away for that project was approved in October of 2003. Basically acquired 130 foot
So
right.
that was 2.5 years after Bentwater was established.
I guess so, yes, sir.
Yeah.
So the majority
However,
of
a lot of the homes, I believe, were set far enough off the existing Cedar Crest Road to not be impacted.
Well,
by
most of the whole.
Right, I'm saying.
You're taking half my front yard. Mr. Chairman, 2 cars in our front yard already. Take half of it and get one from my garage door.
Please stand up, sir. We can't hear you. Please stand up.
We live off High Crest.
Can't hear you.
Speak loudly.
Speak up.
We lie.
Widening of the highway, my subdivision, turning lanes, which takes half of my driveway. And only fit 2 cars in there already from the garage door to the road. You take half of the yard, that's 1 car in my driveway.
Okay, again, this template hasn't been set yet to show turn lanes. I do prefer turn lanes. They make things safer. However, it is not a final plan yet. So you can take out turn lanes. However, there's an impact to traffic as you do that. So again, I would invite anybody who has any questions to come meet with us. We have a staff of pre-construction engineers, including myself. So we can look.
We're here.
I don't
It's hard enough getting out there already for 2 lanes. 4 lanes will be even harder.
Again, I'd like to see how it impacts. I don't have the plans with me right now.
Cynthia Bird, and I've only lived here for 4 years, moved down from the north, in a brand new subdivision off of Cedar Crest, right from Arthur Hills. We have no issues with the turn lanes that we've got there. We have no backup of traffic. I don't understand why the expense and defoliating our area on something that was voted on in 2003 is applicable now when there are no issues. When are you going, we all did think that that's what we were doing here.
That's right.
And I would like to know a date that we can all write down when we can all meet, and do we need to get signatures on petitions?
So we're going to have another meeting for the road winding once we set the corridor template. So that meeting will be set at that point.
We don't want this. We don't want
We don't want the corridor set. We need it done now. We need to discuss this before you guys take it on yourselves to do something that we can't change.
Let's go back originally to why the project is needed.
What is needed?
Back in 1997.
What is needed?
You're gonna have to be civil.
I'm sorry, sir.
Or we're not.
Please forgive me.
The meeting.
All right. In 1997, there was less than 800 cars on this road. Right now, we counted 15,000. As a traffic engineer, when you look at numbers like that, you're going to have more growth in the future. People keep moving into this area. In, I think, 2024, you're looking at 18,000 cars. In 2044, you're looking at 24,000 cars. The project is needed now for the future. Basically, the way the traffic is going to grow, it's needed. I'm sorry, that's just the way it is. As a traffic engineer, this is why you do this. Cobb County widened their section.
Nobody lives there.
This section, like I say, right now, there are different times of day, you're probably fine with traffic. As people keep moving in, as cars keep growing through, it's going to grow more and more, and you're going to have more and more delays. The FHWA gave us money towards this because of the crash rates, the current volumes, and the future volumes.
Let me ask you this, George. Will the numbers, the statistics, aren't they regularly looked at again? I mean, that kind of really did occur. Well, they're not being live.
Yes, Dave. Again, we monitor traffic every year. We count traffic volumes ourselves on Cedar Crest Road, the county DOT, on 6 different sections, all the way from 92 up to the Cobb line. So we monitor, and every year we see growth. It's just the way it is.
But George, what y'all don't understand, because I guarantee you a lot of you guys have not been out there to notice how many people walk in our area.
Amen.
It will be unsafe when you do 4 lanes. There are kids that go back and forth from that crosswalk where the golf community is, because that is where they go hang out. It will be unsafe.
This project will provide for pedestrian accommodations at those intersections.
What good does it do to start 4-lane in that and it runs back into 2-lane roads on Harmony Grove and Cedar Crest is 2 lanes farther on down? You got the same problem.
No, this project here is going to go from Harmony Grove as a 4-lane tie into the Cobb County 4-lane, which ties into Cobb Parkway, which is a 4-lane.
But it's going to run 2 lanes coming back from 41, going back through Cedar Crest. It's going to go right back into 2 lanes there. If you turn right on Harmony Grove, it's 2 lanes. If you turn left onto that other subdivision down there where the Publix is, that's 2 lanes.
That is going to be a 4-lane.
7 Hills, you're running everything in the wind.
Right now, we're finalizing right-of-way for a roundabout at the intersection of 7 Hills and Bentleaf.
But it's still running 2 lanes everywhere you go with that.
It'll be a 4-lane.
You're running 4 lanes into 2 lanes.
It'll be a 4-lane from Bridge up to Cedar Crest. And you're talking about the portion from basically 7 Hills back to 92. That eventually will be a widening project also.
This lady back here in the white top.
So first I want to say thank you, George and Brian, because I had complained several times about the timing of the light at Golf Links and Golf Crest, because I'm one of the pedestrians that walk about 10 miles per day with my dog in the area, and I've almost been ran over 4 times. It is very unsafe, so thank you for sending someone out there to increase the timing on the light at that intersection. It is a lot safer, so thank you for that. So my question is, so we were talking about the safety and the current speed and the speed limit of the road. When you hit the Cobb County line right there at Westminster down here, Highway 41, it immediately drops from 45 to 35. So if we can't do anything to change your design of your 4-lane road, is there anything we can do to get our speed limit decreased to 35 and get it enforced? Because, again, I was told repeatedly, when I almost get run over, I call the sheriff and say, hey, I need a zone patrol. I almost was killed 5 minutes ago. Okay. I know there's a lot of crime going on in the city, and I know it's probably considered petty, but to me it's very important that I can cross the road safely. So my question is there anything we can do to lower the limit and make sure that it is enforced to get it to at least 35? Today they're not going 45. They're going 55 right there at Golf Links and Golf Crest. I promise you. If you get a little further down, it's a lot worse. So that's my question. Is there anything we can do about
the yellow shirt?
My name is Tim Thompson. I live in Post 4 by Cedar Crest, and I don't have a question about the road. My question is for all of the commissioners. My biggest concern is the increase in spending. Is that going to equate to an increase in the millage rate?
The increase in spending will be identified for what it goes to. And if the rest of the board agrees that those are expenditures that are better for the people, better for quality of life, provide the services that are just a give that are necessary, then it could raise the millage rate or it may not. We just have to put our heads together, you talk with them, and we'll decide what's of value to you. We'll put out a list when we have these town hall meetings with the finance director and comptroller, Tabitha Pollard. We'll hand out sheets that show you what it's going to go for. If there are things on there you don't like, communicate that and we'll exit out. Or we'll talk as a board as to whether or not it's worth increasing the millage rate to achieve the dollar amount we need to best serve the citizens. This gentleman right beside you.
Thank you, Boss Man. Jasper Preston. I live right outside the New Georgia area. I'm a young man, been living in Baldy for about 3.5 years now. Been out here my whole life, coming as a kid. When I was a kid, I used to enjoy the dirt roads, getting dirty. When night was night and you couldn't see in front of your face half an inch. That was my Baldy. But Baldy has changed in my short life. And I can only imagine some of the older residents here, how much it has changed. So with that in mind, I was trying to figure out, just being completely ignorant on all this, where I can find tools that you all use to project projects into the future. Is there a 10, 20, 30, whatever, 50-year master development plan for this county? Because I hear a lot of people complain about hiring and, for lack of a better word, the disaster that development turned into with the roads. And I hear projects here and I hear projects there, but I never hear about how it's all going to tie in together for the county as a whole.
We've got a 2015 produced transportation comprehensive plan that's been for 10 years. And then we've got a community development or county development 2017 comprehensive plan. You want to say any more about that?
Sir, that CTP, the Comprehensive Transportation Plan, is located online on our website.
And I just typed in that term, comprehensive transportation.
Can you spell it right? Let's see. You had your hand up a long time.
Yes, I did. Thank you very much. Appreciate everything, Sam. My name is Rusty Newport. I am a third-generation Cedar Crest dweller. I tell you, when I used to come up here as a child, I remember, if a car went by on Cedar Crest Road, you knew who it was, where they were going, and typically what time they'd be home. Right. We understand the increase. I watched it. I watched Bentwater being built. I watched Governors. I watched Seven Hills. Saw it all happen. Totally clear. You still have a resident. It's all mostly residential. Called Cedar Crest, 75% residential, probably still on that corridor. You have children, you have pets. I have personally watched 7 different accidents in the last 2 years with the kids coming over those hills in Cedar Crest, down the valley. You all know what I'm talking about. Pulled a young 16-year-old girl out of a car in a blood mask because they were going too fast. I was at one of the meetings, a couple years ago, where one of your predecessors literally bust out laughing when I recommended lowering the speed limit to 35, and she used that exact deal. It was 13,000 was the number at that time, and now I understand we're at 18,000. I have a 2-part question. Number one, what do you plan to do about the safety issues with an increase in the fluctuation of traffic, and certainly more square footage for them to go faster on? And B, it took, granted, we're a lot better than Cobb County, don't get me wrong, but it took them, 2.5 years to finish a quarter-mile stretch of road? Yeah. I had who else had orange barrels from their driveway to Buckhead and back, right? Okay, thank you. There's a video on Facebook, and I think it's in Holland. Starts on a Friday night. They got a still footage camera, and they're showing this big stretch of a 6-lane highway. Right, you seen it? You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Okay, yep.
Amen.
They rip up the thing on Friday night, and they start moving this prefabricated tunnel coming in. The bulldozers coming in front of it. They're digging. The tunnel's coming in. Saturday comes, starts pouring down rain. Cranes are going like this. People are like ants all over the place. Put the tunnel underneath, repaved it on Sunday, and reopened it on Monday morning. Don't tell me 2.5 years to do a quarter-mile stretch of road is applicable. We know better. So why can't we have a lower speed limit? And if we voted on something 20 years ago, why, I don't know why it took this long to get it instated if it was voted on then, and I'm sure there's a story there. What are we going to do about it?
First thing,
sure.
Speed limit. I could set a speed limit sign out there for 25 miles an hour.
Sure.
The enforcement part's a different issue.
Right.
There's speed limits, and there's also being able to operate speed detection devices. The Sheriff's Department can operate speed detection devices on roadways that have gone through a traffic engineering study approved by the Georgia Department of Transportation on roadways. So anytime we want to run radar on a road such as Cedar Crest, we'll have to submit a TE study to GDOT, basically looking at existing speeds, the crash history, spacing between intersection, roadway geometrics. Based on that report, we can then, recommend a speed. However, it has to be within 5 miles an hour of the 85th percentile speed, which is the speed that 85% of those drivers drive at or under.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, good to know. Sure.
Cedar Crest Road, 85% of the people do not drive 35 miles an hour.
Because they don't have the 15 police cars that Cobb County has from the quarter mile to 41. It's, yeah, that's one. Thank you. All right.
Cedar Crest Road in Cobb County was designed for 45 miles an hour.
And yet it's 35, and I got the $140 ticket for going 36 and then 35. Yeah,
I do
so,
35 and I get,
there you go.
I do 35 and get passed.
I should know your name.
I apologize to all you people from Cedar Crest to take your time, but I had a couple of questions out there. One, you mentioned Greystone. When is it supposed to come?
We had a reading of it. It's October of 2020.
2020? And they're putting some kind of wiring down Howard City. What is that? Fiber optics?
Private. AT&T and some other private.
Google Fiber?
I'm not sure it's AT&T, but it's a fiber company.
20th century.
That's it. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Carmichael. My name is Tom Hennessy. I live off Cedar Crest. My house was built in 2000, 3 years prior to the commissioners at that time putting in this 4-lane expressway, or the thoughts. I guess there's several concerns. The first one being that we all went to Shelton School. We all filled out little pieces of paper with our questions and our concerns. I guess we're all concerned as to whether those have even been looked at. They're tabulating whether there's going to be an address to all those questions, because we're doing a lot of the same rhetorical comments that we still haven't heard anything back from DOT as to our concerns.
Your comments will be addressed.
Okay.
They are being tabulated, and basically people who left an address, they will be sent a letter. Yes.
Gentleman brought up about the millage rate. Obviously, we're only a small portion. A fast-growing section's been that way for 15 years. The other county folks down south, or the other posts, they just may rubber stamp the millage rate, but those of us that live in this northeast quadrant don't want our taxes going up for a 4-lane expressway that nobody here is looking to put in. George, the question comes down to, we've talked numerous times. Anybody, Brian, you come up Cedar Crest Road from the Cobb line down to the Cedar Crest Four Corners. It's going to be a moonscape. You're taking down a 100-foot expressway right up the middle of a highly residential and expensive subdivision, loaded not just with 7 or 8 different developments, but everything's going to be gone. We all know, we go down to Cobb County on that little quarter of a mile that took 2.5 years, there's not a tree within 600 yards of the expressway. That's a major concern. You have probably 4 child care centers scattered on that whole expressway. One, that 100-foot will put it probably within 25 feet of their metal gate.
That's right.
It's in Bentwater. There's a lot of smart, intelligent people that we could be here for 2 weeks and still not have all the questions answered. Right. There is thought that the commissioners have to look at whether this is something that's viable, is needed. We already know, you mentioned it at the meeting at Bentwater, that this is the 3rd busiest route traffic-wise. The 2nd busiest is 381, where for the last 2 years, y'all been building 2 bridges. Okay? You got 2 lanes going to 4 lanes on the bridge. So you're going to have 4 bottlenecks coming in and out of 2 bridges. From 2 lanes to 4 to 2 to 4 to 2. Yet we're not doing 381, and I'm not throwing the folks on 381, but I know that project's way down the road. And we're going to be doing 2 more bridges on Cedar Crest. So, all the commissioners here, I respect you. I was a politician and elected for god darn 8 terms, so I know how difficult, and it's a thankless position. but there's got to be a whole lot of data provided to the people in this corner as to the reasons why. And I know the gentleman that spoke very nice is the money guy.
Yeah.
So I know what it's like to be the money guy, and everybody doesn't like you. So I just want a cumulative group going forward that all our thoughts have to be addressed. Thank you.
Well, I just wanted to announce that Ms. Meredith is going to be taking your names and your phone numbers. You may already have your name on some list, but I'd rather have it on there twice than not have it at all. And also Angela Ferris in blue. Both of them will be taking your names, so don't go back to your car and just cycle through here and get your name on this list.
I got one other question that has nothing to do with the road firm. Okay. I'm going to ask the lady at the water and sewer an important question, and it won't have anything to do with sewage. I know we were going down that road, and I'm glad we stopped. All our bills, at the bottom of the bill, comes up with a $4 for streetlights. Where I came from, streetlights were part of your tax revenue. Can you explain what the $4 is? Is it involved in every development? And if so, how much money a year is Paulding County getting for that $4 surcharge?
We build streetlights. We actually don't. That revenue is just collected by the water system on behalf of transportation, who is in charge of streetlights. So I'm afraid I'm going to turn that back to George.
Wow. Boy, that was a quick.
There used to be a utilities department in Paulding County. That department was, I guess, dissolved in 2011. At that point, the DOT took it over. So yes, right now, basically, the DOT handles the streetlights, putting in streetlights in subdivisions that warrant them and are needed. I believe it's somewhere around $100,000. I can't give you that number definitively, but some subdivisions it's a little bit more than 4, depending on if there's a capital expense to be repaid. But 4 is the minimum, and that is just basically the cost per lot for streetlights inside that subdivision.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Blue shirt.
Yeah, Randy Gull, live in Bentwater. Appreciate all you guys do, really do. I think it's a good county. I moved here because of you guys, giving it leadership. But I'm one of the 88%. I don't want to be thrown under the bus for the little yellow pie. We are providing the revenue. Now, is there no chance that this 4-lane through here can be disapproved and stopped? Tell me yes or no, because we have one of 2 ways to go. We either stop it, because that's what we all think it might be the best thing, or if you think it's the best thing, we can help you make it more residential, the 88% that's paying this bill. So, first question is, can it be stopped?
Anything can be stopped.
All right.
However,
we're going to be letting this project in 3 weeks.
No.
September. But I think in your
mind...
No,
I didn't say we're letting this project.
Okay, I guess I got that wrong.
I said April 2023.
Right.
No, let me start again.
Oh, April 2023. I was thinking 20th to the 23rd. That's where I got messed up. But April 2023, you're going to let the project. But in your mind, I think you've got it convinced that your statistics are telling you, don't worry about that little girl that you pulled out of the truck.
No, sir.
No, I'm not trying to be cruel, but statistics, I live on High Crest and Cedar Crest. Several people have asked you for a stoplight there. This is your mind. They said there's not enough people in that area where there's 350 houses, plus 50 across. Not enough houses there to put a safety stoplight there. I guess I'm just a statistic. But I think you need to get feedback from us who live here. You live somewhere else, maybe. You don't live here, do you?
No, sir.
Okay. So then you need us to help you make it a beautiful project with trees and residential. And you need us to make it a safe project so we can have our children and grandchildren be safe. Statistics aren't going to help you. We can help you. You can drive over here walk to the neighborhood, see us, and that's, we're fighting against the statistics.
No, sir, like I said, I'm a traffic engineer, that's where I started out. I have to deal with statistics. Let's face it, if I basically did every request that every citizen asked or business, there would be complete gridlock in this county. You wouldn't move anywhere. And again, I have to use what data we have. I have to use roadway geometrics. I have to use population. I have to use road use, and I use those factors.
Do you use us?
Yes, I do. People
I don't think so. I think you're using just that. And I think you've got to realize that you're coming into our neighborhood with a bunch of statistics and you're not connecting with us.
That's right.
That's right. You're not connected, George. You're not connected.
I talked to Scott about this, and George would do about this.
And I respect what you're doing. I know the pressure you're under. I'm just saying, give us a voice. Let's help you.
And respect does go both ways in this situation. I've met with so many people in here, and let me tell you, this man, I addressed your concern, and that man jumped on me. I think the majority of the issues that I've had is traffic, roads of some sort. And when I call this man right here, he responds very quickly to whoever he cares. It's just not a job for him. He really does care. But Scott, you was involved more in the beginning of this process.
So we're going to have some planning sessions where we can give you some help on this, or are you all going to stay on that side, we're on this side? That's my question.
We've already had two. I met with these folks right here, and then we had Shelton. So we've already had two, and he said we're going to have a third one. So it's all about just, we want to make this the best project, but is it not just this first level? It's just the engineering and the design work and the project.
But we got to get in front of it because this thing was voted back in 2003 and it's done. Now this design part's going to be done and we're still going to be going, do we have anything to say about that?
And that's what my point is. We need to sit down together, like I came and sat down with them and talked with them, and I addressed their questions and concerns and took it straight back to him.
Did they do that for you guys?
No answers.
We never got an answer back on
no.
those things. But yes, you did, Brian. Brian showed up.
We got answers back from Brian that you submitted to George. We got
George knows.
But I will say, one of the few times I've ever seen government probably be in front of a situation, because in 5 years from now with the projected numbers and we start having crashes and it's the other side of this story, where are we at then? Now we're another 5 years down the road, 10 years from now. I've been here my whole life and I've seen Cedar Crest grow from a dirt road to exactly what it is now.
I think we all want to make it right. We want to help you make it right. We're not arguing against that.
No, that's what the point that I'm trying to make is I want to help make it the best project we can. And that's where I want to sit down and everybody talk about this. But, you know, we can't just really get on to this man right here. He's not the one that started. He wants to help.
Well, he's not to open up. You need a little body language. Open up a little bit, George. We're here to help.
He's an engineer. And so is this man. But I mean, really, I would like to reach in. I mean, to talk a little bit about the start of the project. Because you read a lot more.
Bentwater was one of the first master plan communities in this county. We saw the writing on the wall. Development was coming. When we coordinated with Bentwater with Cousins, we laid out a 4-lane design through Bentwater. There is room for a 4-lane. Yes, there are trees in the way. They've intentionally planted trees there. Those trees can be replanted with more trees. There are other things we can use besides the big heavy trees that are a hazard. And most of our crashes, when you leave the road, you hit a tree and that's where you get a fatality. The trees need to be more decorative. They need to be like crepe myrtles, something else that will not kill you if you hit it. The trees have now overgrown their purpose. So what we'd like to do is work with the engineers and come up with a landscaping plan that is sensitive to the requests that you have. But it is too early to say we've rejected anything. We had a public meeting. We gave all those comments to our engineers. They're digesting. They're coming back with recommendations. And they will officially respond. And they will bring the new design. We'll incorporate as many of those things that we can prove are justified. And we're following federal guidelines for roads that are built all over the nation. Yes, we got to have some local sensitivity to your neighborhood, and we're going to entertain all those ideas and incorporate as many as we can. And then we'll come back to you with another version of the plan and hopefully have more acceptance. It may not be everything that's been asked for. Hopefully there will be improvements and we'll gain acceptance for the most part. But one thing's going to happen. If not in 4 years, then in 20 years, there's going to be a problem there. There's curves out there where crashes are happening today that need to be realigned. Where those main crashes are happening are very sharp curves. We've tried to do some Band-Aid type fixes on those and try to reduce them. But the road has got to be rebuilt to modern standards if it's going to be safer. One of the best things we can do is provide a divided road so that you don't have a crossover, you don't have a head-on likely. One of the best things we can do is have better intersection design. The solution is not a signal always. It's not always great to have these right turns to a U-turn. Sometimes that is the best overall move. But we owe you a response, and we will get you a response on every issue that's been brought up. That's our promise to you. It does take time, and I'm sorry for the delay, but all those comments were assembled, and the engineers have got to write a paragraph or an essay on how we're going to address each comment. And you will be given that response, either in mass in a report or individually if you've left your address. That's the process.
I have a question before y'all make your final responses to everybody. When this road is finally 4-lane, is it going to be opened up to 18-wheelers and big trucks?
No, ma'am. Right now, we have a truck route system. Cedar Crest Road is not on the truck route.
You are good?
Excuse me? The local deliveries are not prohibited. There may be through trucks. Again, that's something I'll bring to our traffic unit.
You had a question before, but we'll let you go again.
Yeah, I'm Jerry Ving. I live off of Cedar Crest. I have a question for George. I understand about the traffic, and that's fine. But do they tell what time that traffic's going?
Yes, sir.
Do they? So you know between 6 and 8 a.m. how many cars are going south and north?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, heavier in the AM, heavier in the PM, not as bad in the middle of the day.
Okay.
Not existent.
Right.
Exactly.
Nice.
Right on the street.
That's right.
Yeah, my name is Jim Hoover. I live in Bentwater, and I'd say 50% of the people in this room are representing Bentwater here this night. I feel, and I think a lot of people in this room, that this project is being shoved down our throats. And the reason I say that is because 5 years ago, Graves Road was completely done. Turn lanes, handicap ramps, sidewalk, sewer lines, water lines, everything got moved. It's supposed to have been perfect. Now you want to tear that whole $1 million project out and put a circle around it, and you're going to take out the 1 or 2 traffic lights that allows the people of Bentwater to get their grandkids from one side of Cedar Crest to the other. The only other light that affects Bentwater is up at Golf Link where all the golfers go into the golf course. So we feel like you're taking a situation and you're making it worse. And I think that a lot of the people in this room would like to meet with the engineer that came up with these bright ideas. So at least instead of doing it in a town meeting with all the committee talking, get me an engineer that knows what he's talking about, and let's see if we can come to some kind of term. Because, the acoustics in this room is terrible, and I've only heard half of what was said tonight anyhow. That's the way I feel, and my house backs up to Cedar Crest too, and I'm gonna lose 20 feet of my backyard.
That's right.
Every house in Bentwater is between $325,000 investment and $500,000. And like I say, I just feel like this thing is being shoved down our throats, and nobody cares. You know why? Because it's not your grandchildren that have to get from one side of Cedar Crest to the other on a traffic circle with no light and an 8-year-old kid on a bicycle. Now, there's something wrong with that, and if I'm wrong, then throw me out of this meeting.
Janine Southall, and I I don't live anywhere near Cedar Crest, but I'm going to tell you, they paved our road last year. It's still a one-lane road. I still can't ride a bicycle on it. So your safety concerns are not just yours, but it's all of the roads when they do them. They widened our road about 18 inches. 2 buses still cannot pass on the road. We now have people going down that road in front of our house at 50 miles an hour with a 90-degree turn. So I know what you're talking about. But that, I mean, no matter what they do, if they do not put sidewalks in, you're going to have this problem. I mean, we've got kids on our road too, and the reason they widened it was because every single person except us complained about the road being too narrow. But because there is no right-of-way, they could widen it that much. When they paved it, they cleared out the potholes. It's now a racetrack. It's supposed to be 25 miles an hour on that road. It needs to be put back to 15 where it was when we first moved out there. Since it's not marked, it's 25. It needs to be put back to 15. And we need enforcement of this. I mean, it has literally become, my son overheard a bus driver, a school bus driver, saying that the section between the 90-degree curve and the curve going up the hill, they tried it purposely in a school bus with our kids on it, go 50 miles an hour on a road that should be 15. They should be fired. This is kids talking, so how much of that is true, I cannot say, but this is what the kids are reporting that they have overheard. So, I mean, you're talking about, and I'm sitting here listening to all this, and I'm like, you know, we've got this problem. It's not just the 4 lanes. And yes, a lot of these 92 Dallas-Ackworth needs to go to 4 lanes. I drive on 92, I drive on Dallas-Ackworth. If I'm going 45, I've got people passing me at 60 on a 2-lane road. That has a there are no passing lanes there. No passing zones. That road needs to go to 4 lanes. If you're going 55 on that road, they're passing you at 70. They need to do something about that corner in Cedar Crest, at Crossroads. I've seen the trailers trying to come through there because of that intermodal. 92 is a major thoroughfare because they're heading for 75 at Red Top. People cannot get through that little intersection because of those trucks. And those trucks can't get through if somebody parks in front of them, stops in front of the block line. So, I mean, the roads are in contention in this county. A lot of it is because up north, if there's a road, there's sidewalks on both sides of the road. There are overpasses, there's underpasses, there's whatever to get through. But that's, you know, the subdivision at the end of our road has 1 sidewalk on 1 side of the road.
Right. Can I stop for just a second? Okay, it's obvious there are a lot more transportation concerns here than we were prepared to cover tonight. I think it's warranted, whether it's the Cedar Crest issue or whether it's other projects in that area, since it's a heavily growing area of Post 4, that we have another special meeting just for traffic, and we can have more time for this. We can bring the engineers in, and then we can cover more separate from this type of meeting. Okay, a longer meeting is what I'm hearing too. We will probably need to schedule that when we have some answers back from the engineers on the first or the last meeting we had. And I don't know if that's a month out or 3 months out, but I think it's warranted we have another meeting so we can cover this. We're here tonight to also cover the original topics, which were general county topics. The word got out that this was about Cedar Crest. That was not our doing. We didn't post it that way. So I'm sorry.
We did, Sons of My Road,
It's
Sons of My
fair
Yard.
game. I understand, it's fair game. All I'm saying is, we didn't allow time for a majority of topics to be on road building. So I'm sorry about that. We can do a breakout meeting special and listening to what you're saying, and then have more people here to specifically address.
And that's why, make sure you get your name on the list. We're not going to know who you are unless we can contact you. Just like I said earlier, we're going to have 2 budget meetings, one in April and one in May. We can have a special, just a Cedar Crest meeting if we need to. Cedar Crest. We need to. Mr. Conley.
We can delve deeper and we get more detail.
Nancy Hollinshed's had her hand up for a while, and then started going again, and then.
Well, I just want to say I live on 61 North, so I've been dealing with water lines being built. It's been a big hassle over there, but you know what? We sat there. I mean, everybody lives on 61. Yeah, we complained a little bit, but we sat there. We understood why we were there. It's for the betterment of our county. We have a brand new reservoir. We have a brand new rig we can entertain us on. We can have entertainment on it. It's water. Sometimes you have to take the bad with the good. And in the long run, I believe y'all are going to see that this is going to be good for this county. I sit through the busiest road in this county is 120 from Dallas to Marietta. You ask Cobb County, they'll tell you. And if you talk about, oh, I get a ticket, it's called the Cobb County Welcoming Committee. They do not give tickets to Cobb County people. They give them to Paulding County people. So that's why you get them there. But I'm just saying, we have a lot of good things going on in this county, and I'm excited. And we are, one thing, we're not Cobb County, thank you, Lord, but we are a growing county. We are growing, and yes, we're going to have growing pains, and we're going to have a lot of issues. But the thing is, these guys are here to listen to you. And when you disparage them by saying, oh, you need a more educated engineer, Scott Green is one of the best in this whole state.
Amen.
So we need to know that we've got some of the best people here, engineers. You just need to talk to them. Let them know your issues. And don't scream at them. Don't beat them up. Listen to them. And they are listening to you. And I know for a fact I've been here for many years, and they can tell you, I'd come to many a meeting, but just listen, they'll listen to you, and they'll try to do their very best. So I'm just saying, these guys are not your enemies. They're here to help you. Good.
Yeah, but I appreciate it, that you have been respectful. You know, you're concerned. I got 13 grandchildren. Fortunately, I live 1,000 feet. There's a lot of bike riding. But you had another question.
I did. I know you've suffered through all the Cedar Crest people. And that's why most of us are here in the room, because of the road widening project, right? Right. And I heard you mentioning, Mr. Carmichael, Chairman, that quality of life, which is also on the back of the agenda. To hear from us, I understand the 2 major issues that most of us are here about. Number 1 would be quality of life. Because if you were to come to Cedar Crest, to the Bentwater neighborhood, no matter what time of day or night it seems, no matter what the weather, winter or summer, you will see people who are walkers. And that's what I wanted to mention. Walkers, movers, and crashes. You'll see walkers, you'll see ladies pushing their children, walking their dogs. You'll see joggers. You'll see all kinds of people utilizing that very space that you want to turn into a 4-lane. And we're all afraid that you're going to drastically change the complexion of our community. You're going to take down the trees, anything over 4 inches in diameter, which means we're going to lose all our trees, right? Many of us moved here because of that whole residential environment and atmosphere, and we don't want to lose that. And that's what we see when we look at Cobb County. And I have all the respect in the world for you as a technician, but we see Cobb County in our future, and we don't want it. So now I want to talk about the movers. I've spoken personally to 5 people who have put their homes up for sale because of this very project. Their quality of life has been impacted in a very negative way. And I know one who's already sold and gone. The next thing are crashes. The Kirby Road, once a month, there's a crash near my house, within 1,000 feet of my house. You straighten that road and you'll eliminate more than 50% of the crashes. The other would be this extreme hill.
Right, this, again, what we do.
Those two spots.
Basically, yeah, you're going to basically design road to meet a safe speed limit. Cedar Crest, as you know, was probably at one time a path that got built into a road, and it wasn't designed for speed limit.
And so really, I'd say this, and I think all of us feel this way. We believe that we have a government of the people. And so we don't feel that our opinions are going to be heard or that our opinions are going to impact your project. We would like to see this 4-lane project canceled altogether and replaced with something that will not devastate the place that we call home, and the reason that most of us move there.
That's right.
For the whole feeling that we get in the Bentwater community, mainly on Cedar Crest Road. We don't want that destroyed, and we're afraid you're not going to hear us.
I hear you. Like I said, again, as an engineer, I have to do what I think. I have to give these guys recommendations. I have to give them the benefit of the expertise I have, the expertise of the people I work with, and when I see traffic issues, I see volumes, I see people, I see, you know, homes. I have to give them what I think is going to happen based on the information I have available. There's growth in this area. There's less growth, so let's say in Yorkville. We don't have a 4-lane project plan in Yorkville.
I'd like to say something if I could to what you mentioned. You talked about quality of life, concern for an overhaul in the, I wish I could remember the words you used, but you talked about a fundamental change in the area you call home. Paulding County has been, over the last several years, a discussion about fundamental changes in people's backyards. I can assure you, I've been here on the board 3 years. I think I'm the, well, Dave was here for a while, then left and came back. But as far as concurrent time, I've been on the board the longest as of right now. I can assure you that every person up here is Dave, me, Brian, Chuck, and Sandy. We're your board, and every one of us cares and has it very close to their heart about the immediate community that people live in, and the desire to change what you have and where you call home without any concern for your home is not, it's not a part of the makeup of this board. And I can speak, and I can say that very confidently because I've been in the political discussions about what's going on in people's backyards in this county over the last, since I've been elected, and then a few years before that. I can assure you now, I can't speak to the traffic study because I'm not the traffic engineer, and I can't speak to the necessity or the non-necessity of a road widening project because, again, I'm not the traffic engineer. But on the issue of your home being your home and being cared for because you live there, you invest your lives there, you raise your children there, you walk your dogs there, that is a concern of this board. And I can guarantee every person in this room that every commissioner on this board, all 5 of us, takes that responsibility and what we do extremely seriously. And it's important, and we understand it. We don't all live where you live, but we understand what a 4-lane in our backyard would look like. We get it. We understand. So these projects where we talk about backyards and our community and where we live, I assure you, and you have my word, that every person on this board cares very deeply about that, and it's a top priority when we're looking at it as a project of this magnitude.
Could the commissioners at least come out and walk the plan and see how that's coming through our neighborhoods? Because right now, George, I don't want to fuss at you anymore, but right now, if they do the way they've got it drawn up, you're going to be in my pool trying to work on the road. You're going to have the construction equipment in my pool in my backyard trying to build down the side of the road. I'm going to take the fence down, take all my trees that are my sound barriers down, but just come out and look at what you're actually doing. Right. This is a nice pool, by the way.
I think the gentleman's invited us to a pool party.
All right, I think so too.
Really? All right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I just real quick, and I know this is not just a pretty good turnout for folks on Cedar Crest Road. I know it's not, indicative of the entire county. How many people were here in 2003? Okay, of you people who, I was not. Of you people who raised your hands, how many voted for the 4-lane? Got it. I think that speaks right there. Yeah. So, folks, we appreciate, all due respect to the commissioners and everything, we appreciate what you're doing. We understand and you understand us. We'd like to continue to discuss it amongst ourselves. Joe, we're going to be taking names. I'll be building just a very simple, for those of you on social media, we're doing a Facebook page about this particular instance. Yeah, there already is one. I know, right? So we want to keep using that one?
Can we tell them about that one so they can communicate with us?
What's the name of your Facebook page?
We haven't built it yet. We're talking about today. We can certainly do it, but there's already one Cedar Crest traffic nightmare or something. Save our Cedar Crest. Yeah.
Can you please communicate with us via that page? I have no idea who started it, but if we could, communication is key.
We can start a fresh one and get everybody's names, and we get all at it, and everybody go viral in 2 days.
Absolutely.
We'll take names. Joe, raise your hand.
If y'all will make sure that you come and sign up on these lists so that the county has your information.
Sure.
So that they can get that information.
Could we get a copy of that list? Is that public? Is that okay if we get a copy? How does that work?
Get here, get a piece of paper.
We've got one. Joe, raise your hand. We're going to be taking names for this one right here. See him if you want to be part. Thank you for the time.
How do we get them to communicate to us other than mailing letters, like they said?
When's the next meeting you say we're going to have on this? You still have it?
Just looking at that.
No, I'm just trying to figure out, like he is, how the best way for everyone to get all of the information.
Marketing.
Well, Scott Green mentioned an intermediate meeting, so we'll have to look at the calendar, and that's why I wanted this list so we can get it out to you.
All right.
Yes, sir. You got questions?
I think the major thing to start is whatever we need to do to get radar county cars. Because if it's 30 miles an hour or 45 miles an hour, if there's no one monitoring it, how the hell are we going to get it?
Call to order. Call to order.
We can all. Okay. One more minute. We'll close it. I know everybody's ready to get out. Any of the commissioners pick up the phone, call Gary Gullich, and he'd answer right now. So if you need better surveillance out there, we can put that word in.
I called the sheriff many times. That's what I wanted to ask you. On your budget meeting, will you talk about the sheriff's budget? Because I have called them personally many times and they tell me they are understaffed. They cannot control the north end of the county. They have to control the primary. I get that, but again, we need some help too. So again, I just want to know when the meeting is about their budget, so I can come and put my comments in to help get them better benefits.
First finance meeting is at Taylor Farm Park on April 18th at 6 p.m.
We would really And I left some of my cards over here on the table. If anyone would like to get my email, I give you my word. If you send it to me, I'm going to get it to the right place. It may not be the reaction or the comeback that you want. I give you my word that I will do what y'all ask me to do. You want to say something?
I wanted to invite the Patricia Dallin. So I'd like to invite Brian, George to come. To invite you to come along to so that you can actually see what we're talking about. And would we request that Brian will be Patricia Bedwater or it's all and if anybody's property is concerned, how can they get an answer of how much land they're going to need? Who should they address?
Again, we have basically conceptual plans right now. They're not final plans. We can show you what it's shown conceptually. Again, we invite you to come in, look at it, and see how it impacts you. Yeah.
You know, okay, within 3 months, within 90 days, we'll have a date set up for that meeting that Scott Green was talking about, how more engineers, more designed around these questions, so that we're going to set a date within 90 days. I'll get it out as far as, I think I still have so I'll get it out as soon as I can, whether it's on that Cedar Crest page, or if y'all have another page that y'all would like. It'll be on the county website. We'll inform as many people as possible so y'all can be there, and we'll have more engineers on staff. Questions. There again, I'm not a traffic man myself.
We all have a lot in common with all girls. We've all been citizens, and we are citizens. So we have similar concerns. Thank you all for coming. The department heads for having you.
Apparently, I gotta go put my name on something somewhere.
Yeah.